Computer. All right, you've been warned. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Liza Jansen Petra. I'm the executive director of the Branford Community Foundation. I'm here with my colleague Jen Mullet, who is our program director. She is the one you go to for any questions about grant making or pretty much anything, really. She knows it all. Also want to say hi to Amy Paris, who is on the call. She smartly did this at home instead of in our conference room. Amy is our administrative assistant, so she can also be of help if you have any questions. We have a bunch of people on the call, which is wonderful. I'd really love just to take a quick minute for introductions, if that's possible. If you could just say your name and the organization that you're with. And I am going to just call on people rather than try to do the popcorn situation. So I'll start with Janet Hall. Oh, you're muted. There you
Right.
go.
I was trying to unmute myself. Yeah. Hi,
Gotcha.
Janet.
Sorry.
I'm a volunteer with Homemakers Thrift Shop.
Terrific. And Mercedes.
Good morning. My name is Mercedes Sherman, and I am with Faith Healing and Deliverance Ministries.
Thank you. Welcome. Brianna.
Hi, all. My name is Brianna. In this role, I'm a volunteer with the Branford Festival. I do development with a community and economic development organization by day, but don't tell them because I'm currently on the clock.
You never know. They might need a grant application too. Um, Alina.
Alana, is that
Alana. Oh, I'm sorry.
just what to
It's my
making sure you're calling on
progressives.
me? No, no worries. Alana Kaplan. I'm on the board of the Branford Micro Fund.
Oh, terrific.
Nice
Ari.
to meet you all. Yeah.
Thanks, Alana.
Hi, my name is Ari. I am the director of Branford Early Learning Center.
Terrific. Yay. Rebecca.
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Taylor. I'm from the Connecticut Science Center in Hartford.
Oh, terrific. It's right there behind you. Molly.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Molly Stanley, and I am co-president for Shoreline Elder Care Alliance.
Oh, terrific. Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken Avery. I'm vice president of the Stony Creek Fife and Drum Corps, and I'm not driving. I did clock in first and then ran out to my car. So,
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect. Welcome. Glad to see you.
thanks.
Hi, John. You want to say hi?
Good morning, everyone. John Proto, Executive Director with the Shoreline Trolley Museum.
Terrific. Stefan? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Double clicked. My name's Stefan. I'm for the development
Oh,
manager for children and placement.
sorry, I got your name wrong, Stefan.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Mina.
Hi, my name is Mina West. I'm chair of the Branford Microfund.
Terrific. Mark?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Henkel. I'm the grants manager at Beach Care.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Evelyn?
Hi, Evelyn Barnum. I'm the grants coordinator at the Connecticut Hospice.
Terrific. Zoom user, is that you, Phil? Unsure. Michael.
Hi, Michael Garman, Development Coordinator at the Connecticut League of Conservation Voters.
Terrific. All right, did I miss anyone? There's one person who just says Zoom user. I think that.
Hi, I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's you.
For some reason, I can't. My camera is not allowing me to come on, but I may have to transfer to my iPad. But good morning. My name is DeShayla Miller. I'm the founder of Her Era. I'm a nonprofit organization for at-risk teen girls.
Terrific. Well, thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Please, this is meant to be interactive. If you have questions as we're going forward, please don't hesitate to raise your hand. I mean, try to be polite, but I know it's still kind of early. But let's go ahead and just jump right in to respect your time. Some of you have applied through us before. Oh, there you are. Hi. I am going to pull up a wonderful slideshow that Jen created. First, I have to bring it up. Hold on. There we go. All right. Are you seeing the slideshow? And then I just want to go to what's going on.
Oops, at the end.
Sorry about that. Any questions?
That was a really.
I gotta let these people in first. Hold on.
Yes,
Hold on.
no, how are we gonna do that? Okay.
Hold on. Okay, this is very complicated for new users. Hold on. I'm gonna let a couple of people in from the wait room if I can figure out how to get there. Okay. All right. Now we will get back to this and we will just go to slideshow, play from the start. All right. Are you seeing the first slide now?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. All right, we're doing something right. Well, we already did that, so we're halfway done. Just to give you a little background about the Branford Community Foundation, some of you are new to us. Our mission is to improve the well-being of the Branford community by connecting people who care with causes that matter now and for generations to come. Our value statement, how we do our work, is we are dedicated to our core values of integrity, inclusiveness, responsiveness, and accountability. So in order to reach our mission, we do that by raising private dollars from the community and from people who care about Branford and investing it, pooling those investments into an endowment, and then using a portion of those proceeds every year through grant making, which you're here to talk about, but also we do scholarships, which is a separate process. We have donor advised funds, which is a separate process. We do leadership, and we have some sponsorship opportunities as well. We're unique because we are intended to be a permanent source of income for Branford forever. So we don't distribute all of the funds that we raise every year. Our intent is to prudently invest them and manage them so that they exist and continue to grow so that there are resources to serve the community forever. One thing that's very important to know, especially from those organizations who may be outside of our community, is that our funds are only intended to support Branford. So people who live, work, and play in Branford. Your organization does not have to have its address in Branford, but in your application, you really need to show us how the funds are directly impacting our community. And I'd be happy to talk more about that if anyone is interested. So just to give you a sense of our size, we're a relatively small community foundation. And by community foundation, that means that we are a public nonprofit, or well, actually, we're private. We're a private nonprofit organization governed by a board of directors, completely charitable. To give you a sense of what we did last year, our budget for this particular grant making arm of what we do is $90,000, 550. We received last year 51 applications requesting nearly $300,000. This is not unusual. There is a great need in Branford from our nonprofit organizations, but it is demonstrative of the fact that there is just way more need out there than we are able to support. So from those 51 applications, we were able to support 29, and 5 of those were fully funded and 24 of those were partially funded. This next part is sort of important for each of you as you think about how you're going to craft your application for this year. This gives you a sense of the size of our awards. So you definitely will want to be reasonable and prudent in your crafting of your application. Our full awards, those that we awarded 100% of what they asked, ranged from 1,000 to 8,000, with 8,000 being the largest grant that we gave last year. We do partial funding. So if you are applying for something that you cannot execute without full funding, you'll need to let us know, because we do assume that you would take partial awards through the grants. But if that's something that you would not be able to do the grant, if we gave you less than you asked for, you'd need to tell us that. We'll take that into consideration. And those awards ranged from 1,000 to 6,000. So the average about 3,000. So that should give you a sense of what to apply for, what's a reasonable amount to apply for. And last year, and I suspect this will be with this year, we did not hold any funding aside from our grants, competitive grant budget for any emergent grants. The need was just too great. And I'll pause there if anyone has any questions about those applications. Okay. So by funding focus area, as I mentioned, we are a community foundation, so we are sort of supposed to fit everyone. But this gives you a sense of where we invested the most significant resources. So the largest area we supported was youth at 29,000. Next was basic needs at 22.5. That our priorities last year and probably this year, we're really wanting to ensure that with all of the uncertainty at the federal and state level, that our neighbors aren't falling through the cracks. So basic needs and youth were very high priorities. Next was health and mental health. And then arts and culture. We have a very vibrant arts community, from performing arts to visual. Seniors, diversity, equity, and inclusion was important for us, environment, and then animals. Everybody loves an animal. So that gives a sense of sort of the spread of where we invested our funds. So our budget this year, our total for everything that we give is 176,000. And from that total, from our endowment, we will give about 56,000 for scholarships. So those are for graduating seniors at Branford High School. And then we have designated and donor advised funds that are not included in the competitive grant making process. So this year, I'm pleased to report our budget is about 10% higher at $100,660 for this cycle. So that is our full budget that we're working with for all of the applications that come in. The process, the timeline, the applications are due March 13th by 11:59 p.m. 1 minute later. From there, we have a community investment committee that we gather. These are made up of our board members as well as some community partners. We try to be as transparent and open as possible, get as many community eyeballs on the applications as we can to be as fair and equitable as we can. So that committee meets about 5 times in March and April. We review every single application. As we're reviewing, we might come up with some questions that aren't really clear from the application. Then we might come back to applicants for some clarification. So you could get a call. The committee then works to prepare the recommendations to go to our board of directors, who makes the ultimate decision. And we present our recommendations, the amounts, the organizations to be funded in May. And then you will be notified no later than the end of May as to the status of your application. Sorry, Jen, you could do it if you want. So what we fund, we award 501c3 not-for-profit organizations and some governmental agencies. So that would be like social services or schools. serving again the Branford community. I can't emphasize enough the importance to identify Branford, how you're impacting the Branford community. We do not pay for programs or services that have occurred in the past, and we won't pay for debt. We won't consider grants to endowments. Applications from previous grantees are obviously welcome. We consider this process, a relationship with our nonprofit organizations. We want to see you succeed year over year. It's not guaranteed, but we will gladly, if you are continuing to make an impact in the community and need support, we will gladly consider another request. And then we do, Jen will talk about this later on, but we do request or require that final reports from the previously awarded grants are provided prior to submission of a new grant. So if you got a grant in 2025, you need to have given us a report about how you succeeded or what challenges you had in implementing those grants from the previous year. Oh, okay. So what we do support, which is a little more positive, identify a need or a concern that your organization or your project is trying to address. If you also, it's fine to want to continue to promote some strengths within the community. We also are definitely will consider capacity building. So that's, if you have some staffing issues or other kinds of capacity building projects that you're thinking about, we will consider that. We really like to encourage cooperative approaches. So if you're an organization, again, that's potentially coming from outside the community, it will be really important for you to establish what those connections you have within the community, either local organizations, schools, committees. But we really think that the more that we work together to address some of these systemic big issues that face our Branford community, the better. We also, if you have a grant that requires that is like a matching grant for something else, that's something that we would consider to support, because if we can leverage our resources for you to receive additional resources, that's very important to us. Infrastructure, that's similar to capacity building. So those are the purposes. Those are some areas that you can consider including in your application. So let me just talk for a minute about Branford priorities. So last year, and I think going forward this year, there is this recognition that there's just a lot of uncertainty with federal funding, with state funding, and how that all trickles down and hits our neighbors. So we're very concerned about that. We're very concerned about some of the changes that are going to happen with SNAP, that are happening with SNAP. We're very concerned that folks are going to just become more impoverished, getting into more financial trouble. So that is something that is very front of mind for us. So as you're thinking about how those changes might impact you, we are interested in hearing about that. But again, it really comes down to what's the impact on our Branford community and our neighbors in Branford. And I think with that, oh, maybe not. I thought I was getting to turn it over, but I'm not. Oh, here are some additional funding opportunities. So as I said, last year, we did not keep any funding aside for emerging grants, but that if we do set some funding aside, we would look for something that was new or innovative, some emergency that had come up, something you couldn't anticipate before this application was due. In addition, we do have sponsorships. We have a great partnership with Ascend Bank to support organizations through sponsorship of qualifying events. The first deadline was February 15th. The next one will be April 15th, and then July 15th. And that information is all available on our website. And with that, that sort of gives you the intent and the conceptual idea of what we're looking for. And Jen is going to take you through the grant portal. So here you go.
Okay, so this is where the fun starts, is getting into the application. And I believe I've recognized quite a few of you, or I've talked to some of you recently about getting into the portal. Many of you, if you have received a grant from us in the past, should have received an email telling you that this process was open and it had a link to get into the online grant portal. If you didn't get that, or if you're just, working on other things and you want to go work on an application, if you just go to our website, www.branfordcommunityfoundation.org, and you go to the top of the page, there you'll see the button at the top that says apply for a grant right here. If you click on that, it'll take you to the portal. And you get to look at some pretty pictures of Branford in the meantime. And there we go. So once you get into the portal, this will look familiar to you if you've already done this, but this is logging on. If you have already been in, you use your existing credentials. If you have logged on and you've had staff changes or someone else needs to be completing applications or doing reports, just let me know and we can reassign the application and the account. If you're applying for the first time, you're creating a new account, I would strongly recommend that you consider doing a generic email such as info@yourorganization.com. Not really your organization, but your organization's name.com or .org, so that it can be passed along to other people in the organization. If you are interested in looking at the application, but you don't really want to necessarily create an account at this time, you can just go over to where it says first time here. If you click here, it'll allow you to see a read-only version of the application. So you can take a look at that prior to, if you want to dig into it further before actually creating an account. And then just at the bottom, there's a bunch of tutorials. If it is your first time, I would strongly recommend just watching them. They're very short and quick, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. There's some written tutorials as well. And that just really gives you a good layout of how the system works. And they have been updating the system, so there have been a lot of changes lately. I think to make it easier, it looks easier, it feels easier to me, it makes more sense. So hopefully you find the same. Once you log on, you're going to land on your organization, your applicant dashboard. So it'll look like this. You'll see all the applications that you have in process. On the left-hand side is anything that's outstanding that, like if you have a grant report that's due, it's going to list that here. And then as you can see on the right-hand side, it has different stages, which is action needed, there's no action needed, and then historical applications. To apply or see the opportunities, you could click either of those buttons that have the big orange arrows pointed at them, and it will bring you to the applications that are open at this time, which I will go back to. But in the meantime, what I'd like to show you is also, if you notice there, back at the top, it said organization summary or organization history. If you click on that button, it will bring you to this page, which will show you everything about your organization, what requests you've had in the past, who your contacts are, anything that's been approved, anything that's due. And I would just encourage you to just play around with this a bit. This is the summary page, but there's a page that just has your request lists. So there might just be something different that allows you to look at your information, what you've done in the past, in a way that makes sense to you. And it's a good way to see if your contacts are up to date too, and if you need them to be changed. So once you click on the apply button at the top or the see opportunities at the top, you'll come to this page, and it will show you the two processes that are open right now. So it's the annual grants and the sponsorships. If you click on the preview button or the apply button or the see more button, all those are going to give you more information, probably maybe more than you want, but it's always good to have more information. If you click on the see more, it'll pop on the left-hand side. It'll shows you what will pop up. It's all the guidelines for this application process. If you click on the preview, that gives you a preview of what the application questions are. I will just caution you that this is all questions that are on the application. So depending on what kind of application you're putting forward, if you're putting forward an application for operating support, it's going to ask for a few more questions than if it's a project. So not necessarily all these questions are going to be applicable to your application, but it does gives you a place to start out if you need to collaborate with other people in your organization to get information. And then, of course, if you click the apply button, it's going to bring you into the application. So once you're in the application, you'll see there's a section called helpful hints. This just has some basic information about how often when the application's due, the saving, some confirmation information. And then also there's some tutorials in here for some collaboration features and some copy features, which I will get into in a minute. If you click the little down arrow next to the header, the instructions, helpful hints, any of the sections, it'll collapse that section for you so you don't have to scroll all the way through it. I'm going very fast. I hope if anyone has any questions, just jump in and shout them at me. Once you're in the application, you'll see there's a couple of buttons at the top of your application, and they'll pop up as they become relevant. But the application packet, that is, if you print that when you're done, it'll print out a copy or save a copy of your whole application for you with your answers to each of the questions if you want a hard copy PDF file of it. The question list is exactly what it sounds like. It's the list of questions in the grant application. And there's also a document viewer. So if you were to upload any particular documents, you can just go in and look at the documents there without having to scroll through and find each document separately. These are fun buttons. Copy previous answers. This allows you to copy from an existing request. So for instance, there's a lot of questions that are about your organization, your mission, your history. Those might be questions that you just want to be able to copy over the answers. I will say, as a general rule in life, you should probably just reread what you copy, but it makes it easier as far as not having to, type out things that you've typed out before. And there's a tutorial on there. You can take a look at how that works. Collaborate allows you to work with other people in your organization. So if you need like your bookkeeper or an accountant or someone to give you some financial information, you can invite them into the application. It will send them an email. It will tell them what you can write, what you're looking for, and it'll give them the ability to be able to either you can set whether they can edit it, whether they can submit the application, or whether they can just view it. And as I said, instructions can be found for these in the instructions section of the application. But that's pretty useful as well. And then, of course, you got to remember to hit the submit application button at the end. When you submit the application, you will get an email from the system saying that an application has been submitted. If you don't see that email, I would check your junk file, just make sure it hasn't gone someplace else. But if you don't receive the email, then you probably should just reach out just to make sure that it is actually submitted. Typically before the application deadline, if there's anything that's sitting in my queue that I can see that hasn't been submitted, I will just check it and reach out if something, looks like it's nearly completed but hasn't been submitted. So, but I would just make sure that it gets submitted so that you're in. I would do it, and please do submit your application early because I will be honest, at 11:30 on March 13th, I will not be looking at my computer. So, and if you have, and then also just so that if you have any questions, we can try to get them sorted out before you submit the application. Because as you saw earlier when Liza was speaking, we had 59 applications last year, and that's a lot of applications for staff to go through. And it takes us a lot, it takes a bit of time to go through all that. So if there is an issue, we'd rather deal with it before the application is submitted. And then just some updates to the application. A couple of these were new last year. I'm just left them in here, but we clarified the focus areas. So we just wanted to get from your perspective what your primary focus area is, and then there's an optional secondary focus area. So there's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of overlap in focus areas. So you may be working with seniors, but you may also be doing mental health. So like which of that is your primary focus area and what's the secondary focus area? And that just really helps us in the office kind of just know, what we're supporting. And instead of us trying to decide what your focus area is for you, it would be better if you were deciding what your focus area was and letting us know that. So, and then the geographical region served, there's always kind of been some confusion about that. We want to know what your organization's footprint is. So if you're on the shoreline, what towns are you covering? There's a couple different questions. One is like, the larger area that you cover, and then how it's specific to the town of Branford. And I will just tell you that the committee really doesn't like when we get applications and it says that the region served is the whole town of Branford. I understand in theory that makes sense, but clearly, it's hard to reach everyone. So based on if it's something you've done in the past, what is your estimated impact? And then again, it's people that are living or working in Branford. And then new this year is we are only accepting one application, and the system will only allow you to do one application per organization. So, we would really encourage you to think about, what's the most impactful. And, if you have 3 programs that you're trying to put it on, that's great. We're all in favor of supporting that, but put it into one application. So whether it's just operating support or put your three programs that you're looking for support for into one application, or put your strongest one forward. So, but we will only be accepting one application per organization. And let's see. And then of course, if you are awarded a grant, there's a whole process that goes along with that, but you'll either are familiar with that or you will get familiar with that. It's pretty we have a conditions of award that we expect you to sign. And then obviously it's, we want to celebrate and acknowledge the partnership that we're fostering. Make sure you keep in touch with us if any challenges arise. I know as we're going through the grant report process right now, people have had delays in their projects because of things that are outside of their control. We just want to know that. It's just good for us to know going forward. There's no slap on the wrist or for that. And then the grant reports are just due in February before the next grant application. And I think that about covers it.
Terrific. All right, I'm going to turn this off so we can see everybody if they're on. So that was a lot of information, but probably all of you are familiar with writing and submitting grants. So we'll take any questions right now if you have them. If anything has come up, if you have a question, the likelihood that someone else is thinking the same thing is pretty good. And if not, please reach out to Jen.
Yeah, my email's there at the bottom.
Email's there. Yes, Mercedes.
I saw that you're only receiving one application per organization. I wanted to ask you, is that the case also with like the the sponsorships, are applying for a grant or a sponsorship, are they mutually exclusive? Are you only
No.
accepting? Okay.
No, you can apply for both a sponsorship and a grant. Lots of folks do that. That's a great question.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Zoom user, I forgot your name already.
It's okay. It's Deshayla.
Oh, hi, Deshayla. Thank you.
I'm gonna put on the application Zoom user so you know that it I know that you guys mentioned that like for just a target area like in Branford, but for my organization, I'm focusing all like for the teen girls within like Branford as a whole. So
Yep.
I'm not sure how I would narrow that down for the application because I I don't know how it would. Yeah, because
I
I'm
would
like trying to
encourage.
reach all the like the youth and stuff through Branford, like within Branford. So I don't want to just limit to one area, but I don't know if
Right.
I don't know, maybe I should just maybe look for like maybe target the area where that maybe the high school is or something if that's more if that's easier, if that would be helpful. I just don't
Yeah.
want to like
Right. I think that the challenge for us, like, is when someone says, well, we're going to serve 24,000 people, and that's the entire population of Branford. So I think for your application, it would be thinking about the number of teenagers that live in Branford.
okay.
And then you probably will try to impact most of them. But realistically, you probably won't. And
Right.
and here's the other thing, I would suggest a follow-up conversation with Jen about that.
Okay.
She would help you with that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure. Alana.
Hi, thank you, and great presentation. I really appreciated that. It made it very clear how to go about, at least
Oh,
from my
good.
perspective. Yeah. Just a quick question. So you showed how you can, and I haven't been in the portal before. So you showed that you could print out the application packet. Can that be done in draft stage, before you finalize it?
Yeah, you can print that out at any time.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. This way, if I want to have my colleagues take a peek before I hit the submit button.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. There's a place where you hit save the application too, so you can save
Okay.
it and then print.
And you can also, if you wanted to, you can add them as collaborators and as a view only, and they could see the different answers that you would put in or to edit it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? Please don't suffer alone. If you have questions as you're going through the application, reach out to us. Our goal is not only to support you in this grant making process, but to also be a partner for Jennifer. Why are you thumbing down?
Oh, geez, I'm not. But I do love to suffer with other people. So
Suffering loves company. Anyway, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions going forward with the application. And if there, Amy, did you want to add anything from your perspective? No. Anyone else have any comments, feedback? If not, we'll
This
let you.
was I just
Pardon?
want to say, I just want to second Alana. The presentation was very clear. And thank you for the opportunity to even present this to us because sometimes I know I've been on like tried to do other grants. The application and the portal is it's so confusing. So you guys taking the time and going through this with us and showing us and sharing your screen, that was very, 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 very helpful, at least for me.
Terrific. Well, that's
Great.
all Jen. So thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and we're getting some love. That's so nice. Thank you all.
Yeah, I have a quick.
Yeah.
This is Joe Mooney. How are you?
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good,
Good.
Liza. Just a quick question. For Kenny Avery and myself are on. Thanks for inviting us for Stony Creek Fife and Drum Corps,
Yep.
and I'm not sure what exactly the dollar amount that we're going to ask for, but the question would be is. Let's say we ask for a certain amount, but you're not able to fund the whole thing. Is there partial funding available?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. And in fact,
Okay.
I think I mentioned it earlier. If Yes, the short answer is yes. Ask for what you need and we'll do the best that we can. But if
Okay.
you, again, if you ask for a number like 2,000 and you cannot do the project without the full amount, we need to know that as well. So ask for what you need and we'll do the best that we can.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I have a quick question. Will you be emailing us the slides?
Sure.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay, thank you.
And the recording also, we can, because I'm sure you want to see this all over again.
Yeah, last time the recording was too big to email, so we ended up putting it up on the website where
Oh, terrific.
some of those tutorials were. So
Oh, great.
maybe we
Thanks,
might
Dan.
need to do that again.
Okay,
Great.
great. Did everyone receive the email from Amy about this event? Because we'll use those emails to send the slides out.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Oops. All right. Anything else? Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. Have good luck on the application and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. All righty.